Hello, best friends. We are back for the next session of the one and only Bob. I left you on a sincere cliffhanger because it's my favorite thing to do to keep you engaged. We are on page 180. We are really making progress through the one and only Bob compared to the one and only Ivan. So I'm very happy with that because we don't have too much longer left of school. So hopefully we're able to finish it over the next week and a couple of days, I hope. If not, I'll keep reading it into the summer because I love you. All right, so we're on page 180. We left off with Bob watching the tragedy, basically, of I believe it was Pugz vanishing under the surface of the muddy waters with Ruby and her elephant troop trying to save her. A lot of you had very different and unique ideas to think of how she was going to be saved, who was going to be saving her. So I think that one of you is right, but we'll see. Team Elephant. Hurry, Ruby cries. The elephants bend lower, moving like a giant elephant shovel. Where is she? Mazika asks. Lower, says Akello. Lower, sisters. There, Ruby yells. No, wait, there. Up, Akello commands, and the interlocked trunks rise from the muddy waters to reveal a tiny, trembling baby gorilla sitting in their makeshift sling. Kudzu, says Akello. Stay calm, baby. We're going to toss you safely, okay? Kudzu gives a little nod. On my count, says Akello. Start swinging. 1, 2, 3. Up and over go the trunks, and up and over goes Kudzu. She lands with a little plump on the gorilla's side of the moat, right next to Mazika's rear legs. Good work, everyone, says Akello, and good thinking, Ruby. Thanks, Elephant, said Kudzu, wiping mud from her eyes. That was fun. Can we do it again? Akello takes a deep breath. Maybe later, sweetheart. Quickly, I make my way back over the moat. Kudzu, I say, follow me. Let's go find your 8 peeps. Can I go with Bob? Ruby asks Akello. Akello touches Ruby's back with her trunk. I'd much rather you stay here, dear. And it's may I. But Uncle Ivan, Ruby pleads. I'll keep an eye on her, I tell Akello. I'm going, Ruby says, in her most determined voice. Maybe I can help. I helped just now. Akello hesitates, but finally gives a slow nod. Probably, she figures, there's no arguing with Ruby. She's right on that one. Ruby crosses the moat and joins Kudzu and me. Be careful, Akello warns. There's more of this storm coming. I got her, Akello, I say. You'd better have her, she warns. I think I flew, Bob, said Kudzu as we weave our way through the wasteland that was Gorilla World. Yeah, me too, I say. It's that kind of day. So that is Gorilla World. It's in a little bit of dismay. But now we have Ruby and Bob and Kudzu. Little gorilla Kudzu looking for Ivan and Kenyani. What's out there? A handful of humans, firefighters, and police, mostly, have began to roam the grounds, checking out the damage. We pass a park employee with a weapon slung over his shoulder and a net in one hand. A trank gun, he tells a passing officer. We don't know what's out here. She nods. How fast do they work? On something like a big cat, he shakes his head. Not fast enough. I look over at Ruby. Stay close, kid. So basically what's happening now is the majority of the zoo was dismantled from the storm, the tornado. And we talked a lot about how tornadoes move and how, one side of a street could be totally fine and the other side can be completely destroyed. And that's held true with the zoo. So basically what's happening now is the zookeepers have called in firefighters and police and animal control to help them kind of assess the damage and see where these big, dangerous, wild animals are. If, the gorilla sanctuary is completely destroyed, if the elephant sanctuary can get to the gorilla sanctuary, I can only imagine what happens with those really, really dangerous animals, such as like lions, tigers, bears, any animal that can easily hurt a human. So basically an employee is walking around with a tranquilizer gun, which is something that people use to make animals sleepy so that they can easily move them or easily control them. So if you've ever had surgery, like I broke my collarbone and I had to get I had to go under, and I fell asleep, right? I was tranquilized and I went to sleep. The same thing holds true here. So they have almost like a dart that they shoot out from this gun, and it doesn't kill the animal, it doesn't hurt the animal, it just makes them go to sleep so that they're better able to be safe themselves, the humans, and transport maybe a wild animal back to where it should be. But it's a controversial topic. Okay. As we near the gorilla villa, what's left of it anyways, a screech hits my ears that makes the wailing police siren sound like mewling kittens. It's Kenyani. She's frantically knuckling, running back and forth near the collapsed gorilla villa. Chunks of cement, shredded wooden beams, and bent metal lie everywhere. A cluster of gorilla humans and juveniles huddle not far from some rescue workers. "There's Mama," Kudzu cries, dashing toward a gorilla named Jody. I'm so horrified by the destruction that I've almost forgotten my muddy little charge. I really shouldn't be trusted as an ape sitter. Kudzu darts over to her mother's waiting embrace. Jody nuzzles her and strokes her and says soothing, motherly gorilla things. "Thank you," Jody mouths to me. "Don't thank me," I say, looking over at Ruby. "Thank this little gal. She figured out how to save Kudzu." "Thank you, Ruby. Isn't it Ivan's friend?" Ruby gives a shy nod. "We all helped." "I provided moral support," I add. "I flew, Mama," says Kudzu. "Of course you did, dear," said Jody. Kenyani's fresh wails focus my mind. "I gotta go," I say. "Ruby, you should stay here. I'm going for a no-nonsense voice, the one Julia uses on me when she calls me Robert. Let me see what's what. I'll be right back." "No way, Uncle Bob," Ruby replies, just as firmly. I give up, but I'm afraid of what she might see or of what we might both see. "Any sign of Ivan?" I ask Jody. She shakes her head, a grim look clouding her eyes. With Ruby by my side, we approach the pile of wreckage that used to be the gorilla villa. At the same moment, Ruby and I gasp. There's Ivan's hand, barely peeking through the rubble. No. Ivan's trapped under all the rubble of the gorilla villa. Let's hope he's okay. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very anxious. I'm feeling very worried for our dear friend Ivan, who lived most of his life in captivity in a horrible location. He's finally in a better place, and now he's trapped under rubble. Not moving. I know that hand like the back of my own paw. "No!" Ruby screams. "Uncle Ivan!" I check the crowd. No sign of Julia or George. Nothing. No Maya either, or other keepers I recognize. Just a few employees, several rescue workers, and 2 or 3 dazed-looking visitors. "Is he alive?" a firefighter asks. "Hand, whatever it's called, isn't moving," said another. Weaving my way through the tangle of legs, I climb up the rubble pile, sniff a bit, and bark my loudest. "Yes, he's alive. Get your rears in gear," bark. Just like those overachieving rescue dogs in the Man's Best Friend show. I listen for a sound from Ivan, a grunt, a cry for help. Nothing. Still, he smells alive. At least I think he does. And that's good enough for me. I'm going to see if we have enough time. Another dog races over, a tough-looking German shepherd wearing an impressive glow-in-the-dark vest and some booty things to protect her feet from rubble. But I hold my ground. This is my friend we're talking about. I lick Ivan's hands. His fingers twitch. Well, that's all it takes to get both of us barking like maniacs. More people gather. I see Amaya next to Ruby, which makes me feel better. "Name's Zena," says the shepherd. "Bob." I nudge Ivan's fingers with my nose. Nothing. "And this is Ivan, my best bud." "Sorry to hear it," she replies, and I don't like the sound of her voice. So this German Shepherd, Zena, is she's definitely like a rescue dog. There are certain dogs that are trained to go to specific locations of destruction and look for human life and people. This happens in war locations, in accidents, even like snow avalanches. There's dogs that are trained to go find people in the snow. So we can assume that Xena is a very similar type of dog. But she sounds grim, and that's probably not a good sign. With great care and far too slowly for my taste, rescue workers begin removing chunks of the wreckage and tossing them to one side. Xena and me, we mostly stay out of the way, but every so often I lick Ivan's hand just so he knows we got him covered. I glance over at Maya and Ruby. Maya is wiping tears from her eyes while she strokes Ruby's ears. Ruby is giving Maya a comforting trunk hug. Good old Ruby, wise beyond her years, that gal. I check the crowd again, still no sign of Julia or George, and that's when a sickening thought hits me in a bite to the belly. What if Ivan isn't the only one under the rubble? We're going to stop there. 192. This book is just filled with cliffhangers, guys. I don't even think it's my fault anymore. I think it's Catherine Applegate, the writer. We still have some while to go. Let's see. The last page is on 134. And we're on, 234. No, 324. And we're on page 192. So we have a little over, like around 150 pages left. So I'm going to try to keep reading more and more and maybe go a little bit longer than 10 minutes if you guys are cool with that. If you're good with that, leave me a comment in our Flipgrid. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. What do you think happened to Julia and George? And do you think Ivan's going to be okay? Ugh, I hope so. I may not be able to wait. The good thing about being the host of this little group is that I can sneak a view into what happens. But I won't do it. Pinky promise. I'll see you tomorrow.